Hi everyone, welcome to Veronika Hug. Today I'm going to show you how you can do a turtleneck all by yourself. But first I'm going to show you what you're going to need. So 2 spools of the Woolly Hugs Charity of any color you prefer. So this is washable at 40 degrees Celsius and it's a really nice wool to work with. So it has 75% wool and 15% polyamide, 10% polylactid. And it's called charity because 25% or 25 cents of each spool goes to a humanitarian cause of my choice. So I'm going to use my knitting needles, 4mm ones with a line. And you're going to need some regular wooden knitting needles. So these are not 4mm but 3.5mm instead. But you can even use a little bit bigger ones if you tend to work pretty tightly. So yeah, I'm gonna show you how you can do something like this. So the bottom section that you can see here is actually the beginning of a scarf or a shawl that I did in another project. So I can do that in a separate project, but I do want to focus on the top section, so on the actual turtleneck. So that's what we're gonna do today. Okay, so here we have this last row that we're going to work on. And I'm going to show you here is the edge where we added new stitches so that it can grow. So now we're going to start stitches with our wooden knitting needles. So here we're not going to cut off or shorten any thread. We're just going to keep working with the yarn that we have. So let me show you how you can do that without having to cut off the yarn and you don't have to start over. So the first 3 stitches that you see on here, we're going to put onto our needle. So we're just going to do them in knit stitches. And then from each of these loops here, I'm going to start a new stitch. So each needle that I'm going to work with is going to have about 30 stitches. That's going to be kind of how I'm going to do this today. I'm going to count really quick. Okay, this is 26. And 30. So we're going to start a new needle here. Nine and 10. $20. And 30. Okay, there we go. So I'm approximately at the middle, and now we're just doing the same thing with our third needle. 10, 20, 30. There we go. And again. Ten. 20, 'And here are the stitches from the beginning, and that's where we do the extra 3 stitches. And then I'm gonna put this all together. So we're just doing a knit stitch and then a purl stitch, and we're gonna keep changing between those two. And now this is the part where you just need to have some patience and work on it. So this is gonna take a while, but you basically do wanna do this for a number of times. So a number of rows is what you do wanna get, so that you can get a really nice height, and so that your turtleneck really does look like a turtleneck. Here you're gonna want to do them together so that you just stay in the rhythm and you can work on it more. So you can see that I have quite a bit of height here now. I'm gonna measure so that I can tell you. So this is 16.5 centimeters of height. And then, yeah, all around I had 126 stitches. And yeah, it was a little bit too wide for the turtleneck. So that's why you can notice here the 4 spots where I reduced. So I did 2 times the 3 stitches together. So yeah, it's really easy to notice, and I bet you already noticed it, but I'm just going to show you from a close-up. So that's where I reduced the number of stitches so that it has the width that I would like to have. So I just basically did the 3 as one, and from there on continued in the same manner. And that way you have still a nice kind of bridging to the actual section before the turtleneck starts, but you still get a lovely width on top because of these 3 that we reduce. So yeah, now I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do next. So in the middle of every needle is where I did the reductions. So I'm just going to work on these a bit more, and then I'm going to show you what I mean. Okay, so now imagine that this is the middle of your needle, and I would like to do these 3 together. So now I need this middle one to be the knit stitch so that it looks nice in the end, just like here on the bottom. So in order to make that happen, I'm gonna do the purl and the knit together, and I'm just gonna transfer them onto my working needle like this. And then the last one, I'm gonna do knitwise, and the 2 that I had on my working needle, I'm gonna pull over these. And then that way we basically get this knit stitch on top, and that's exactly what we want. And then I would just work on a row without any reductions. And then you can always repeat that for any number of times, but I think the 1 did the trick for me, so I just did the 1 reduction on the bottom. And then you would just continue in the same manner right after that. And now you can again do these 3 together. So again, take these 2 onto your working needle the same way you do the 3rd one knitwise, and then you just pretty much pull the 2 over it, and you pretty much can continue in the same manner. And it looks neat, it yields a great result, and it gets you exactly what you need to continue. So now I'm going to continue again in the same manner until I have about 19 centimeters of height here. I would like a pretty tall turtleneck, but you can of course do less or even more if you prefer. That's completely up to you. And then I'm just going to show you how you can finish it off, just so you have a neat edge that also looks good and isn't too tense or doing anything weird. So yeah, this is what we have for now. As you can see, it's a pretty simple project. So yeah, let's get to the last part. Okay, so I'm gonna start in the back middle section with the finishing of my stitches, so with the casting off. The first stitch I'm gonna do knitwise, and then we're taking a yarn over, and the following one we're gonna do purlwise. Then we're gonna take the yarn over with the knit stitch and just pull it over that last loop or stitch on our needle. And then the next one we're just casting off knitwise. Then before the purl stitch we're again doing a yarn over, and then we're pulling both the knit stitch and the yarn over the purl stitch. I'm gonna do it one more time so that you can follow my lead. So before the knit stitch or before the purl stitch we get a yarn over, and the knit stitch we just do as it is. And this way, this is the edge that you can get. It's really stretchy, which is exactly what you want, and it's a really easy method to use, as you can see. So when you do a yarn over before the purl stitch, you get a nicer edge than if you do a yarn over before the knit stitch. That's of course completely up to you, you can try it out, but I think my personal preference is doing a yarn over before the purl stitch. And then you're already done with your turtleneck.